Welcome back to the show. I'm your host Kyle, and going to be talking about The Great Escaper. On D-Day, June 6th, 1944, over 150,000 Allied troops stormed the five beaches of Normandy in northern France. It was the largest seaborne invasion of all time. The bravery of these men turned World War II in the Allies' favor, and unfortunately, many of them were not lucky enough to return home across the English Channel. It is now 2014 in the context of this movie, and the 70th anniversary commemoration of D-Day is just around the corner, as the 80th anniversary is just around our corner in current day world. As he goes about his morning activities, 90-year-old World War II veteran Bernard Jordan, played by Michael Caine, feels drawn to cross the English Channel once more. Now, unfortunately, having left it too late, he's going to miss out on joining any of the unfortunately booked out traveling parties. However, he is spurred on by his loving wife Irene, played by Glenda Jackson, who knows her husband has it in him to make his own way there. So the next morning, Bernard sets out to make his voyage, unbeknownst to the staff of his and Irene's care home. Now, along the way, Bernard meets many other veterans of war making the same trip. Some are young, like Scott Victor Oshin, while some are elderly, like Arthur, played by John Standing. But all of them have been forever changed by their traumatic experiences. Each in their own way, Bernard and Irene reflect on their past together and apart during World War II. But little could they know that Bernard's adventure is becoming something of a media sensation as news breaks of the hashtag The Great Escaper. Now, this is a simple yet charming film, and it's based on the true story of Bernard Jordan, who was, of course, a World War II veteran who made his way from his English care home in France, English care home to France, sorry, causing quite the commotion in the process. And the shock seemed to be that this 90-year-old managed to make the trip safely, but I mean, of course he did. And director Oliver Parker and writer William Ivory want to show us that why Bernard is considered part of the greatest generation. The Great Escaper is a film which was on my radar for a while. Beyond the interesting true story, it marks the final film of two-time Oscar winner Glenda Jackson, who unfortunately passed just prior to the film's premiere. But adding to that, Michael Caine, who is also a two-time Oscar winner, shocked the world, or maybe didn't shock the world, when at 90 he announced that this feature would likely mark his retirement from acting. Now, this gives the film an already bittersweet feeling before even diving into the emotional subject material, and we're introduced to this loving elderly couple near the end of their days. Oliver Parker presents their world as calm and at peace, much at odds with the trauma of the past, which we see in flashbacks. However, The Great Escaper was a much more subdued film than it could have been. It would have been extremely easy for a story like this to be constantly pulling at your heartstrings, but the journey the film's characters embark on is much more than that. It's the toll which experiences with war take on human beings is explored much uh, as a continuous, long-lasting issue, not something that they can just cry about and get over on a whim. It's something which has followed Bernard his entire life. That said, there are still some extremely powerful moments scattered throughout the film, showing incredible performances from the entire cast. Bernard helping new friends confront their demons is a running theme, while Irene reflects on her experiences, accounting for the emotions felt by those in Britain who saw their man going off to war, going off on a trip that they may never return from. And the irony of Bernard's current voyage possibly being very similar to that is not being lost on her over the course of the film. She might not actually see him again. But while I feel the film's most heartfelt moment is when Bernard has a conversation with German veterans who were very likely shooting at him on that very beach all those many years ago. And once they were on opposite sides of a battlefield, and now in peacetime, they're connected forever through a mutual respect. I thought that was a very touching moment and very brave for the filmmakers to go there. Now, it's deeply moving and sentimental. There isn't a whole lot to The Great Escaper, so while it may not be the most ambitious film ever, it certainly gets the job done. It's a wonderfully melancholic experience, and it allows two of British cinema's great actors to have a last hurrah together. So I'm going to give this one 3.5 out of 5. As I say, there wasn't really a whole lot to the story. Most of the most of the heavy lifting was already done for them. I feel with the true story aspect, but the way they went about it was really interesting. And of course, Michael Caine's performance was amazing. So was Glenda Jackson's. So were Victor Oshin, John Standing. Really, there were all the performances in this movie were really great and really do sell it. So it's really an entertaining film, but yeah, 3.5 out of 5 for me. And with that, you're listening to CentralCoastRadio.com, and we'll be back right after this.